Alright, what's going on? I just filmed one of these a couple nights ago, and you know, I got it edited the same night, posted it the next day, and today I'm basically at home alone, not doing much of anything, so I figured, fuck, if I'm in the mood for it, I may as well try and get another one of these out. I tried to come up with like a theme for this one, and kind of couldn't, so I just pulled out a bunch of records that are pressed on pretty colored vinyl. That's the best I got. And actually a couple of these records I've talked about before, like different versions of them. For one of them I'll be able to compare it to the first press on camera here. So that's fun. If you can hear what's going on in the background, it sounds like I'm filming this video inside of like an arcade game or something like that. This is what we've got going in the background. This is Goblin Priest. You can basically hear what it is. Almost sounds like 80s video game music or something. But this is out through Grimestone. I got this a while ago, and I don't think I've played it before right now. Of course, I listened to some of it before I bought the tape. Because stuff like this is it's fun to throw on from time to time, and it works really well as like background music for these videos as well. Besides that, my face feels quite a bit better than it did the other night, which is good. Every day has been an improvement. I can actually breathe through my nose for the first time in over a decade or more, which is fucking, you know, it's so weird because like even I'll notice like if I'm drinking out of like a water bottle or a straw or something like that, I'll drink and then I'll like take a breath through my mouth because I'm not used to being able to breathe through my nose still. It's fucking it's pretty bad. I shouldn't have let it be that way for so long. But whatever. I hope this isn't too dark. It shouldn't be, right? Try that. Yeah. Actually, that's probably too bright, huh? Wow, dude, what a fucking nightmare. I've got to start preparing for these videos. Alrighty, let's get into it. The first thing that I'm going to talk about here is a fucking classic. This is Beherit with Drawing Down the Moon. This is a Nessie Press of Drawing Down the Moon. Nessie being, what is it, Northeastern Steel Industry or something like that? It's a label out of China that does a lot of like really high quality pressings of classic records, new records, all sorts of things. I don't think Nessie has like their own roster of bands or anything, so maybe it's not really like a label, but they do a lot of pressings of a lot of good records. And they are kind of expensive, but you know, with like the quality being as nice as it is here, they're definitely worth it. I'd like to track down a first press of Drawing Down the Moon at some point because it is one of my favorite black metal albums. But I figured I would just show this off real quick because it's super nice quality. I've had this for like a year and a half now, and I've never talked about it on here before. Without going too much into the music, this thing is full of kind of like hypnotic riffs. It's a slower record for sure, but the whole thing sounds very gritty and menacing, and vocally it's one of the most like evil sounding things ever committed to music. So Nessie did two versions of this one, a Japanese version and a Chinese version, and I'm pretty sure that this was the Chinese version, and I got this one because I like the way that the record looks better, but it does come with an OE strip, which is actually pretty easy to get off, which is nice, because sometimes they're fucking horribly difficult to get off and you feel like you're gonna rip something. But yeah, there you go. This is limited. I have number 37, and I believe it's 37 out of 100. So one of the things that this it did say was that the logo on here was supposed to be glow in the dark. I've tried it, and I don't think that it is glow in the dark. I don't know if maybe it's just my copy or if it's all of them, but I couldn't get mine to glow in the dark worth shit. But there's the back cover there. You got all your track listing and everything. Very, very nice. All of these Nessie records, like I said, the quality is really, really good on these, pretty much all the way through. This does have a inner sleeve with the lyrics. The other side is a picture of the Earth from the moon, which is quite cool. And the vinyl itself, if I'm not mistaken, the Japanese version, the other one, was black vinyl with blue and white splatter, I think. And the one that I have is black vinyl with blue and orange splatter. Very, very, very cool. I love the way these Nessie records look, man. Love it. I'm not gonna spend too much time talking about the music here. I mean, we know Beherit. Beherit, especially with Drawing Down the Moon, is kind of like a pivotal black metal record. And, you know, I'm not cluing anybody in. So, Beherit is wonderful, and even though you've already heard it, put it on again. Can't beat it. That's Drawing Down the Moon. Alright, here's kind of another sort of classic black metal album. However, I will say that I have always had a bit of trouble getting this one to properly click with me. This is Emperor with Anthems to the Welkin at Dusk. So I've talked about Emperor a number of times on this channel throughout the years. Just, you know, mostly, actually pretty much entirely, all the material earlier than Anthems to the Welkin at Dusk. And at some point I mentioned that my kind of cutoff for Emperor was always after In the Nightside Eclipse. And for the most part, I had kind of avoided the material sort of after Anthems to the Welkin at Dusk, after I heard the very final album. I don't remember what it was called. Something Prometheus or something like that. I bought the CD for that just blindly a long time ago, probably 10 years ago or so. And I fucking hated it. Like, I literally hated that album. And, you know, because I kind of skipped all of the albums between, like, In the Nightside Eclipse and that, I think I just kind of assumed that it was all maybe progressively headed towards that direction, which is probably true. But because of that, I wrote off Anthems to the Welkin at Dusk for a long time. And to be honest, like, even listening to it now, like, I can't get myself to truly love this album. I do like it. I like it quite a bit. But obviously this is the second full-length album. Came out in 1997, immediately following The Reverence, which I do have a copy of that I got a couple years back. I like the sort of Viking-y intro here. Overall is a nice sort of balance between like the keys and the black metal. But I don't know why I can't let myself like love this album. And that kind of makes it seem like it's a decision that I've made, and it's really not. I do also like that there are sort of like clean vocals in parts here. The black metal wretches kind of feel like strained. Not really in like a bad way or anything. But, yeah, man, I don't know. I just... I mean, you'll see at the records that I'll talk about immediately following this one in this video, you'll see that, like, you know, it's not a problem of like too much sort of like synth element or shit like that. I don't know. I'm stumbling over myself in this video trying to figure out, I don't know, sort of like quantify what it is about this album that I don't love. And I just can't do it. So maybe I'm the fucking problem, right? Anyway, this is a 2022 Candlelight pressing of this one, and the reason I decided to grab it now is because I've been wanting it for a long time. You know, because I like the album enough to where it's definitely worth owning, and a lot of times when I own something I give a little bit more attention to it, and because of that, you know, I assumed that I'd put it on and I'd pay attention, maybe read along with the lyrics or whatever, which I don't even think this includes the lyrics. Yes it does, never mind. I guess I should do that, huh? But, yeah, because of that, I decided to grab it now, especially because these new pressings are absolutely fucking beautiful. So like I said, this does include the lyrics, which I did know that. I haven't sat down and actually read along with them yet, but, Yeah, I knew it came with the lyrics because I fucking looked at this before, but I guess I'd forgotten. Maybe I'll do that right after when I'm done filming this video, because I need to know, I need a conclusive answer on this once and for all, how I feel about this album. This includes a double-sided poster, which both sides of this poster are fucking horrible, and I don't know why anybody would hang this shit up. There's one side there. And the other side is that. Yeah, I don't know about that, dog. The vinyl itself is probably one of the prettiest records that I have in my collection. White, black, green swirl. I fucking love it. Yeah, dude. Crazy pretty. A lot less green on this side, but that's wonderful. I don't think there were any limitations specified or anything like that. Candlelight also repressed a couple others, but I can't fucking remember which ones. I know In the Nightside Eclipse was one of them, but I don't remember what else they pressed with it. I'm definitely not the biggest Emperor fan in the world, obviously, but I definitely have a lot of respect for Emperor and their contribution to like early black metal. Or I guess early second wave black metal. So yeah, man, I'm gonna keep on keeping on with this one. Maybe it's just exposure therapy that I need. But, you know, for now, that is Anthems to the Welkin at Dusk. Alright. We're gonna move on from something like Emperor that has a sort of nice balance between the synths and the black metal to something where a lot of people would probably agree have taken it too far. But I happen to fucking love this project. I've talked about this band numerous times over the years, and they continue to get better somehow. This is Masartham. Admittedly, I don't like what they titled this one. CLG J02182-05102. So I looked it up, and basically that refers to like a galaxy cluster, a faraway galaxy cluster that is basically, like, from what I understand, made up of stars that are much older than the galaxy is. So it's a bit of a mystery, I guess, because the galaxy is too new to have stars like the ones that it does. I might be wrong about that. It was a very cursory look right before I, you know, decided to make this video. But interesting, I guess. I wish it was a name that you could just kind of say, but whatever. So this is, as of right now, the most recent release, and I believe this is a full-length album. And that would mean this was the, I think, 6th full-length album now. There is kind of a few years of a gap for Masartham releases that I just don't own. Don't really know what I was doing during those couple years, but right at the beginning when Masartham started in like 2015 or something, I was keeping up. Like every time they would release something, I would grab it. And at some point I kind of just stopped paying attention for a couple years. I don't really know why. But I, you know, tuned back in a couple years ago, and I mean, this band is just as good as they were when they started. Like I said, in some cases, even better. The most two recent releases, which is this one and then Vacuum Solution, which I thought about pulling out for this one instead. I mean, those are up there with my favorite Masartham material for sure. In my opinion, Masartham is a really, really fun blend of like raw black metal and the heavy, heavy use of electronic music. Or maybe you could call it synth, I guess, but it almost sounds like techno-y in parts. And, you know, from what I've heard, there's very few things out there quite as heavy-handed as Masartham is with, you know, those elements. And I fucking love it. So the type of people who don't like stuff like Masartham also don't like stuff like Old Nick or really any of the stuff that is kind of pushing the boundaries, I guess, for what you can do and still qualify as black metal. you know, a lot of those things are my very favorites because it's different and it's fun. And, you know, I don't think it's a crime to want music to be fun. But anyway, I'll show you what this looks like. There's the album cover there. Like all Masartham album covers, they used a photo taken by NASA. Or I guess a photo owned by NASA, whatever. I love it, very cool. And like all the Masartham stuff, there's like no logo or anything on it. Masartham really kind of doesn't even have like a band logo, I don't think. The back cover is quite cool as well. Very glossy, but you have all the track listing. Masartham, it always like kind of hints at having 2 members, but they're just named with like a period, so there's, you know, there's no telling who's actually in this project. There's the vinyl there. White, red, swirl, very, very nice. Logos are cool as well. But yeah, man, basically if you're okay with your black metal having lots of electronic influence and really, really pretty epic melodies, and you know, the vocals being like real distant and wretched, I love it. And if those things sound appealing to you, then you know, I'm sure you'll love this as well. So if you've never heard Masartham, give it a whirl. That's, oh fuck, CLG J02182-05102. Alright, I had to change what we were listening to because that tape was over. So now we've got this. It's a Sanguinaria Sette Vampirica. Just black metal. I'll put it in the description. And I guess while we're making all the purists sad, we'll continue to make the purists sad. I haven't talked about this project in a little while. This is Old Nick with Crisp Winter Dawn of My Night Moon. This is not the most recent release. This is the one before it. I can't really remember when this one came out, though it may have been last year. It's definitely been a little while. Old Nick has absolutely slowed down with new releases. But this is great. This is a little bit different than the Old Nick releases on either side of this one. So on the back here it says Crisp Winter Dawn of My Night Moon is a venture back into the origins of Old Nick, combining our new skills with our old style. So I would say that this is a little bit more accessible to the people who maybe don't like the old Nick material that's too like kind of cartoony. If you like the older Old Nick stuff, then you might appreciate this more, though really, like, I doubt anybody who doesn't like the stuff they've heard from Old Nick, probably this isn't going to change your mind. But compared to I Am Vampire Castle or Ghost O'Clock, this is absolutely a little less sort of over-the-top silly. But, you know, I fucking love it regardless. The song on here, Witch Cries in Massachusetts, is probably my favorite, though Haunted Broom is on here, and that song is wonderful. Besides that, the title track and The Worst Vampire, Shepherd of the Rats 2, yeah man, very cool. Let me show you what this looks like, because this is really, really nice, put out through Phantom Lore. I mean, ladies, look at that, look at them bangs, bruh. This dick don't rest. This man is putting in work. Also, the Old Nick logo that they used is kind of like the older one, which is cool. There's the back cover right there, all the track listing, album title up there. Like I said, out through Phantom Lore. The tape version of this actually included the lyrics, which I think was the first thing from Old Nick that ever did include the lyrics. But the CD version and the vinyl version do not, unfortunately. So there were three versions of this besides the black vinyl. There was like a gray marbly version, and the one that I have Those two came with the Obi strips, the limited ones, and they're limited to 100 copies. I have number 13 out of 100, and I went with the splatter version, which is up there with like my favorite looking records in my collection. Super fucking nice, man. Yeah, I don't have any other records that look quite like this. It's like a black with yellow, orange, and red sort of splatter. There's it with a flashlight behind it. Super fucking cool, man. Phantom Lore, dude. Phantom Lore is also putting in work. Phantom Lore has been doing great stuff recently. And, you know, I've talked to the guy who runs Phantom Lore a handful of times, and he seems like a nice person. His label is doing great stuff, and this is absolutely no exception. I love this record. I love this project, and you know, as per usual, fuck your purity test. That's Crisp Winter Dawn of My Night Moon. Alright, let's try and win back some of the people I lost a little bit ago. This is a repress from 2021, I think? Yeah, 2021. And it was a very long overdue repress. But I bought the first press of this one back in 2020. And of course, you know, that's when they would decide to repress it, you know, shortly after. But I do have the first press here, and I will show you what they both look like. This is Celestial Bloodshed with Cursed, Scarred, and Forever Possessed. So, this is a Trondheim band, Norwegian, obviously. Formed back in like 2000, and this is the first of only 2 albums that this band ever did, which came out back in 2008. And actually an interesting thing about Celestial Bloodshed is half of the releases were like posthumous releases. So the band was no longer recording music, but half their discography came out, you know, after the band was through. But this album is great, man. I love the sort of slower, hypnotic moments that balance out the faster, more aggressive black metal on this record. The vocals are a bit deeper and kind of maybe not really growlier, but not exactly like your high-pitched standard black metal wretches. And yeah, man, the repress here is so fucking nice. The repress was done by Territor, who did put out the first press as well, I think. I'll verify that in a moment. But anyway, there's the album cover right there. Obviously, the spot gloss logo is very nice. Let me show you what the first press looks like while I'm doing this. So the repress is obviously like a darker cover, but the first press has the spot glossed logo as well. The repress is like a red logo, however. The back cover of the repress is kind of the same. Darker, however, the back of the repress has spot gloss on the track titles, whereas the first press does not. The gatefold of the reissue is very nice. Great picture of the band there. You know, just their normal credits and stuff. I like the kind of like almost newspapery look that's sort of all over this thing. The gatefold of the first press is very different from the repress, but really, really great picture right there in the middle. Very cool. And quickly, that way I don't have to keep holding 2 records at the same time. This is the first press inner sleeve. With the lyrics are on here, but not all of them, because you can tell they're kind of overlapping, which is a bit annoying. There's the other side of the sleeve, and I think it was 666 copies on black vinyl. But the repress comes with a few extras, which is great because everything here is very, very nice quality. So the repress comes with a booklet. There's the vocalist there. And the booklet has the lyrics, and it actually looks like it's got all of the lyrics. So That's definitely an improvement from the first press where everything is kind of overlapped. They just basically made it a booklet and put all like the burned looking pages on, you know, their own pages. But there you go, there's a big sort of collage right in the middle of the booklet. This also includes like kind of thick inner sheet here with a couple cool pictures, including the picture that's on the front cover there. Really, really nice. This one also has a double-sided poster, which if I had more room for posters in this place, this would probably be in a frame. But there's one side there, which is cool, and there's the other side there. I actually really like this side here. So you could get this on black vinyl, or it was available on this very nice orange vinyl with the black splatter. Very, very cool. I don't think there were any limitations specified anywhere, but very, very nice quality. This whole thing is very nice quality packaging, and really this album fucking needed it because like I didn't pay too much for the first press, but you know, I paid more than I would have had to, I guess, if there was already a repress out. But yeah, man, a really, really great record, and definitely my preferred record of the two Celestial Bloodshed albums. But I'm sure you guys know it. If not, give it a shot. That's Cursed, Scarred, and Forever Possessed. Let's end this video with some death metal, and we're gonna start with this. This is Regurgitation with Tales of Necrophilia. So this is a pretty, well, not necessarily a short-lived band, but a band that didn't do very much. Though Regurgitation formed in Ohio back in 1994, they only ever put out one full-length album in 1999, which is this. There was a demo or an EP or something before that, and they've actually they did something like a new EP or something like a decade ago or something like that, but I've never even heard it. I can't imagine it's anything like groundbreaking though. Most of the time when bands come back after being away for that long, like they're, you know, the success rate is fucking dismal. But maybe I should give it a whirl. I don't remember what it's called, but I'm sure it's on like YouTube or something. But anyway, the album, the full-length album, Tales of Necrophilia, this is great. This record is packed to the gills with just fucking raw energy. I love the vocal range from like the gurgly lows to the really nasty highs. There's lots of really good guitar work on this. It's not like chuggy caveman riffs. There's actually some sort of technicality there, but not in like you know, it's not like Origin or anything like that, obviously. But it's just enough to keep it interesting while also maintaining that fucking just nasty, raw, brutal death metal sound. This is a newer repress of this one. I think this came out last year. I don't know if this had been put to vinyl before. I'm sure that it probably has, but a lot of those like late 90s, early 2000s, like brutal death metal albums never got vinyl treatments. So I'm not really sure if this one was one of the ones that did or not. Probably should have looked that up, huh? This album cover is great. I know this is a Christian program, but try and look past that for a moment and just admire the artwork. There's the back cover there. It's just absurd. I fucking love it. Put out through Hell's Headbangers, which I don't know if I mentioned. This comes with a inner sheet, with which is weird. One side is matte and the other side is like glossier, which is strange. But there's the band members right there, which this is a really cool way to put a band picture onto your inner sheet, by the way, just kind of surrounded by artwork. Really, really nice. This does include all the lyrics with more artwork. Wonderful. This also includes a poster of the artwork, just in case you're a sinner. The vinyl itself, though, is very, very cool. I don't have any records that look quite like this either. Limited to 400 copies. It's like a red and green swirl, which is cool. It actually looks like there's more than just red and green. It almost looks like red, green, and maybe brown. And with a lot of these swirls, one side is always a little bit more impressive than the other. But yeah, man, just nasty fucking death metal. I love it. With such hits as repulsive genital disfigurement, fermenting vaginal excrements, menstrual cycle, fetal suffocation. Yeah, wonderful. So if nasty, brutal death metal sounds like your thing, give this a whirl. It's Tales of Necrophilia. Alright, let's wrap it up. We got one more record, another death metal record. This is a 2021 full-length album and the third album from this band. And I've really enjoyed everything this band has done so far, and this is no exception. This is Fulci with Exhumed Information. So this is a little bit of a different idea than the previous two albums. But only kind of, because this is kind of separated into two halves that are both very different from one another. So basically this has like a death metal side, and then the other side is basically written to sound like a movie soundtrack, like a 70s movie soundtrack. Which I don't think that I even knew that before the record showed up, because a lot of times if it's a band I know I like, sometimes I'll wait to hear the whole thing for once I have the record. This might have been one of those, because I don't remember like reading about that anywhere. But yeah, there's only like 5 songs on here that are like death metal songs. So it might not be for everybody, but the death metal songs are great. Lots of sort of really like heavy chuggy moments, plenty of like grooves and shit on here as well. The vocals are kind of really like low grunts. There are some exceptions to that, but it's great. The Fulci death metal stuff from the first album till now, it's all been wonderful. Tropical Sun is probably my favorite of the albums. It just kind of seems the least kind of campy, but you know, this album is super duper campy, and I really like the material on here, both sides of it. I think in a perfect world, the soundtrack stuff would have kind of been integrated with the death metal stuff. But that's not the route that they chose to go, and I respect it. It's a kind of a bold move, so I dig it. This is what it looks like. I don't know if you can tell. The logo is printed on an outer sleeve here, which I kind of like and I kind of don't. Just because, like, I hate these resealable sleeves because they get fucked up. But that's what it looks like without the jacket in it. The album cover itself is fucking awesome, dude. Like, this is definitely my favorite of the Fulci album covers. Really cool. I love this style of art. It looks like a horror movie cover. The back cover there with all the track listing, band logo, guys in the band there. Yeah, so like I said, all the tracks are just one-word titles, but everything on the B-side from, I think, Glass on is the soundtracky type stuff. And there's an intro on this album, the song Autopsy, which is also kind of like soundtracky. So yeah, there's only 5 death metal songs on here, but it's great. There's the lyric sheet there, and the other side is just some additional artwork, and then in loving memory, whatever. This album was based on the movie Voices from Beyond, directed by Lucio Fulci. Voices from Beyond was the very last Lucio Fulci movie. The vinyl itself is very cool. Clear with white splatter. Love it. I love the pink labels as well. Limited to 250 copies. And this is probably my favorite of all the versions that I saw of this thing. But yeah, man, I really like this band's music, and I'm excited to see what they will do next. I already have the Fulci split with fluids, the 7-inch. I have that on pre-order, and I'm excited to hear that as well. But I'll talk about that when it shows up. But for now, that is exhumed information. That's it, y'all. That's a handful of records. I think I showed 7 records in this one, but it might have even been more. I have no idea. Regardless, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys found something new. Though nothing I talked about today was like super duper underground or anything. But thanks for sticking around, and see you in the next one. Later.